Welcome to TB Pennick and Sons Incorporated, Station Park Green, Project Safety Orientation. General 1. No one under the age of 18 is allowed to work on the project property construction site. 2. Badging orientation sticker. All employees on site for more than one day must attend the orientation. 3. All OSHA regulations will strictly be enforced. A. Disciplinary procedures. 1. Verbal. Orientation will have to be retaken again. 2. TB Pennick retains the right to have you removed from the site, depending on the nature of the violation. For example, zero tolerance. 4. Fall protection. Zero tolerance policy in effect. 5. Floor hole covers must be used and maintained by a competent person daily. All opening holes between 2 inches and 12 must be covered with a manufactured plastic hole cover. Fall protection. 1. 100% tie-off required at 6 feet and above. 2. Zero tolerance will be practiced on all fall protection violations. 3. A full body harness and proper connector equipment shall be used. 4. Fall protection gear is to be inspected prior to every use and every 6 months by a competent person. Do not use damaged gear. 5. Tie-off point must be able to withstand 5,000 pounds of force. 6. 100% tie-off when working from boom lifts. 7. Employees must be trained on the use of fall protection gear. Fall protection continued. 8. Scaffolds. A. Must be built under the supervision of a competent person who is capable and authorized by employer. Fall protection must be used while erecting scaffolds. Exception must be approved by TB Pennick and Sons Incorporated. 9. Standard railing. A. Top rail must be at a height of 42 inches plus or minus 3 inches above the working level. Do not tie off to guardrails. 10. Ladders. A. No aluminum or painted ladders are permitted on the job site. B. Inspect ladders before each use. Only type 1A and 1AA ladders are to be used on the job site. Fall protection continued. C. Never use an A-frame ladder as a straight ladder. D. Never stand on or above the top 2 steps or the top cap of a ladder. E. Never store materials or tools on the steps of a ladder. F. Employees shall be trained on ladder use and safety. G. Use the 3 points of contact rule while climbing or descending on a ladder. Do not carry materials or tools while climbing a ladder. Safety enforcement. 1. All personnel are encouraged to ask questions and report hazards. If you are not sure if it's a hazard, please ask TB Pennick and Sons Supervision to clarify. If you have any questions or concerns, please ask for assistance. 2. There is a safety enforcement fine system in place on this project. A. You are accountable for your actions on this project. B. You will be physically removed from the job site for gross violation or repeat violation. 3. All personnel are empowered and encouraged to stop unsafe acts, identify unsafe conditions, and stop non-construction personnel and escort them out of the work areas. Emergency procedures. 1. In the event of an emergency, A. Notify job foreman immediately and or TB Penick project superintendent or safety manager. B. Give the exact nature of the emergency, for example, employee injury, fire, etc. C. Give the exact area by floor, room number, north, east, west, or south side of the job site. D. Stay on the phone until safety has confirmed that you have provided accurate information. E. If an evacuation is not necessary, stay on the scene to provide incident information if it's needed. Emergency procedures continued. 2. Evacuation procedures. A. 3 horn blasts will indicate job site is to be evacuated. B. Proceed in a calm manner to the evacuation safe zone. Muster points for evacuation will be briefed. C. Report to your designated supervisor, foreman, for head count. D. Do not leave the safe zone or go home until instructed by your supervisor. Personal protective equipment. 1. Basics. A. 100% hard hat protection required at all times. B. 100% eye protection, ANSI Z87.1 required at all times. C. Safety-toed work boots are required, no soft shoes allowed. D. Long pants in good condition, no shorts. E. Shirts must have sleeves at least 4 inches long. F. Glove protection is required where hand hazards are possible or exist. G. Ear protection in environments above 85 decibels. H. Face shields are required when cutting, grinding, chipping, etc. I. Safety goggles required when operations produce flying hazards from stripping forms and or shoring, etc. J. High visibility Class II clothing must be worn on site at all times. Electrical. 1. Industrial heavyweight cords with proper grounds are to be used at all times, and 100% ground fault circuit interrupter GFCI protection. 2. Inspect all cords and welding leads before each use. A. Damaged items must be repaired or removed from the job site. B. All leads and cords are to be elevated above all main walkways. 3. All mechanical and electrical systems are to be considered live. 4. Never work on live panels without prior approval from TB Penick and without proper procedures and precautions outlined in the NFPA, NEC, and safety orders. Equipment. 1. Proper training and certification is required prior to operating equipment. 2. All stops must be observed at intersections and must come to a complete stop. 3. Speed limit is 5 miles per hour or a safe operating speed, whichever is slower. 4. A spotter is mandatory when view is obstructed by load. 5. Backup alarms are required on all vehicles. No passenger riding on equipment or on the back of trucks or pickup trucks. 6. Horns and lights are recommended for all equipment. 7. Always follow the manufacturer's operating instructions for all equipment and tools used on this project. Cranes. 1. Be aware of overhead loads and listen for horns. 2. Never walk or stand underneath an elevated load. 3. The crane swing radius shall be flagged off. Barricade tape. 1. Types of tape. A. Red tape means imminent danger exists. Only authorized personnel performing actual work are to be allowed to enter the barricaded area. The only exception for entry into a red tape area is with the permission of those authorized to work within the area. Violation of this rule will result in immediate removal from the job site. B. Yellow tape means a hazard exists that requires caution. A yellow tape area may be accessed by job site authorized workers who stop to observe the present hazards and take the proper precautions before entering the yellow tape area. Training requirements. 1. Must be trained and hold a valid certification documentation to operate forklifts, aerial lifts, cranes, scissor lifts, and powder actuated tools. 2. Contractors are required to provide workers that are trained as required by OSHA standards and site policies. 3. All subcontractors are required to have a competent person who is first aid CPR trained for the duration of the project. Incident reporting. 1. Contractor pays for insurance and all medical bills. 2. Any injuries, illness, near misses on site must be reported to their supervisor immediately, within 15 minutes of the event, if physically possible. 3. A first report of injury form must be filled with TB Pennock Safety Office within 8 hours after an accident. 4. If transported to a doctor for treatment, all follow-up appointments must be kept. 5. A temporary modified duty policy is in place. 6. The worker must strictly follow any and all work restrictions issued by a doctor. Housekeeping. 1. All trash debris must be cleaned up and disposed of in dumpsters. This includes lunch break trash. Work areas must be cleaned every day by trades that generate the debris and maintained in a safe working condition. Housekeeping is a condition of employment at TB Pennock & Sons Incorporated job sites. Thank you for attending TB Pennock & Sons job site safety orientation. Job site discrimination policy. Discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, including pregnancy, sexual orientation, or gender identity, national origin, disability, age, 40 or older, or genetic information, including family medical history, is illegal and will not be tolerated. Definition: race, color discrimination. Race discrimination involves treating someone, an applicant or employee, unfavorably because he, she is of a certain race or because of personal characteristics associated with race, such as hair texture, skin color, or certain facial features. Color discrimination involves treating someone unfavorably because of skin color, complexion. Examples of race color discrimination. The law forbids discrimination when it comes to any aspect of employment, including hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoff, training, fringe benefits, any other term or condition of employment. It is unlawful to harass a person because of that person's race or color. Harassment can include, for example, racial slurs, offensive or derogatory remarks about a person's race or color, or the display of racially offensive symbols. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor, a supervisor of another area, a coworker, or someone who is not an employee of the employer, such as a client or customer. Examples of sexual orientation, gender orientation discrimination: harassing an employee because she is a transgender woman, firing an employee because he is planning or has made a gender transition, denying an employee equal access to a common restroom corresponding to the employee's gender identity, harassing an employee because of a gender transition, such as by intentionally and persistently failing to use the name and gender pronoun that corresponds to the gender identity with which the employee identifies, and which the employee has communicated to management and employees. Denying an employee a promotion because he is gay or straight. Discriminating in terms, conditions, or privileges of employment, such as providing a lower salary to an employee because of sexual orientation or denying spousal health insurance benefits to a female employee because her legal spouse is a woman, while providing spousal health insurance to a male employee whose legal spouse is a woman. Harassing an employee because of his or her orientation, sexual orientation, for example, by derogatory terms, sexually orientated comments, or disparaging remarks for association with a person of the same or opposite sex. Discriminating against or harassing an employee because of his or her sexual orientation or gender identity, in combination with another unlawful reason, for example, on the basis of transgender status and race or sexual orientation and disability. By signing this form, employee acknowledges this zero tolerance policy and violators may be subject to disciplinary action, including removal from the project. If you are discriminated, please report to the TB Pennock administrative staff on site, Gary Marble, at phone number 805-714-2621. If resolution is not obtained, you may also file a complaint at the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission District Office at 450 Golden Gate Avenue, San Francisco, California. Or you may call them, phone number 800-669-4000. Thank you for attending TB Pennock and Sons Job Site Safety Orientation.